Kitty had arrived in Cannes ahead of the group and arranged for Shelley House. It was a nice place, Mara remembered, secluded from the road with a lovely private garden and a glassed-in porch. We were so tired, we just wanted to eat and rest. But first, the bedrooms had to be allocated. Um, they had a look around the house and found the bedrooms downstairs too fancy. Two smaller bedrooms upstairs were just right. Mani occupied the tiniest room meant for one person, and Mara and Khorshid the other one. Nadja still felt ill. She stayed where she was, quietly ensconced on the stairs with her eyes closed. Kitty and Rano helped her to her feet and put her to bed in one of the downstairs bedrooms, which they thought would be better for her. She could hardly move and was sick all night, but she recovered the next day. After dinner, Mara and the others went to their bedrooms, where Mara opened Baba's small bag and kept everything ready for his morning shave and wash. After unpacking, they made their bed and put out the light, but there was no night light. Now where was the switch? We were lost. Inside, dodging furniture, bumping into things. At last we found the switch. Though I never liked such a bright light burning, we left the light on and went to sleep. Their beds were soft, and they slept well on the first night in Europe. But in the morning, when Baba came, washed his face, had breakfast, he told them, "Don't get completely settled. Don't unpack everything." According to Chanji, Baba did not find the house suitable for the life of seclusion the Indian ladies had observed for years, and he wanted them to continue. While Norina, with her influential connections, was arranging for another house, Mara and the others passed the time on the balcony, from where they could see the garden. After a few hours, Baba came back and said they had found a better house named Villa Caldana, and they drove over to look at it. It too was situated on a hill, only this time with a view of the ocean. The house was lovely, Mara recalled. It was a 3-story building, spacious and airy. On the top was a terrace with a roof over it, and the side of the hill had terrace gardens. Baba never liked being in a congested area. The garden at Shelley House was secluded, but it could be entered by anyone from the street also. Villa Caldana was built on the side of a hill with a vast unobstructed view of the Riviera. It did not have such easy access. Mani's diary, August 15th, left Shelley for Villa Caldana. Madam and her cat welcomed us. Nice big house, lovely garden terrace. August 16th, before supper, walk through the woods belonging to the house. Villa Caldana was quite grand. Inside, a sweeping marble staircase led upstairs to a broad hallway with carved cables and a large mirror on the wall. Everything was very elaborate, said Mara. They found the master bedroom, where 4 of them, Mara, Mani, Khorshid and Nadja could stay comfortably. Attached to their bedroom was another room with a small sink where they could change clothes. A bathroom with 2 more sinks and a bathtub was nearby. The room had large bay windows filled with light. In the daytime, they could see the fashionable people with umbrellas sunbathing on the beach by the picturesque bay. In the evening, lights around the bay reflected in the water, forming a necklace of twinkling lights. The reflection in the water looks so beautiful, Mehera observed. At night, we used to look out the windows with Baba and admire the view. They did have to put up with one discomfort. Though it was summer, the nights were cold and the linen sheets on the bed felt like ice. To get into them was a fright. Sunamasi and Walu stayed next door in the medium-sized bedroom, and Kitty's room was at the end of the hall. Norina, Elizabeth, and Rano were in the bedrooms on the top floor, where Baba also had a room at the end of the corridor. Once Mehera and the other woman were taken to see Baba's room. It was a nice room, not lavish, but open. You could see the sea from the terrace. Downstairs was a spacious drawing room with a piano and more exquisite furniture. The anteroom for visitors, which had a telephone and a writing table, a dining room, and an alcove near the marble staircase. A kitchen and a maid's room were toward the back, with a cold room next to the kitchen, where fruits and vegetables were stored on the shelves. Another villa called Villa Capo di Monte had been rented for the Mandali, many of his Western lovers, and other visitors. Baba breakfasted in the dining room at Villa Caldana with the Eastern women, then went to Capo di Monte to be with those who had journeyed to Cannes to see him. Usually he rejoined the women for lunch, but sometimes not. Kitty had been instructed to bring 2 English maids. She had only been able to find one. Baba did not want to hire any local persons to do the housekeeping, since it was thought that this would lead to gossip being spread. What he wanted was a young woman from a Baba family, Irene Billow, 20 years old and the daughter of a Swiss Baba lover, was therefore called to help with household chores. She had never met Baba or the others before. Shall I go on?
Yeah, if you want to, yeah.
Well, I feel like I don't read very well.
No, you're reading fine.
Okay. Irene related that when she first arrived in Cannes, she felt like she was treated like a servant, particularly by Norina. I didn't dare say anything. Otherwise, they would have given me any work, wouldn't have given me any work. And I wanted to work. They offered to pay me something, but I refused, as my father had given me some pocket money. I never felt tired, no matter how much cooking, cleaning, or dishes I did. I didn't mind. I didn't mind. I had never done enough rough work like this at home, and we had servants. Here, somehow, I didn't mind doing it for Baba. Irene stayed in the maid's room near the kitchen, which was directly under Baba's bedroom. At night, the light from Baba's room filtered through her window. I used to stand at the window and thinking about thinking I would catch a glimpse of Baba's shadow. His shadow looked like a giant, though Baba was 168 centimeters tall, and I was 170. I always felt that Baba was taller, much taller than me. I don't know how many feet that is.
Well, I'll tell you, because Mara looked at me one day and said, "Oh, Rosalie, you're tall." I said, I'm 5'7". She says, "Good. Baba was 5'8".
Oh,
You can look up to him.
okay.
Yeah.
Mara always spoke fondly of Irene Billow. It's easy to see why. This attractive, gregarious country girl appealed to her. Young, big-boned, and open-natured, Irene was a cheerful person with curly auburn hair. She was strong. She knew how to sew, knit, and cook. All about horses. And all about horses. like Mara herself.
Yeah.
Irene was not an intellectual, but a practical sort of person. We felt very at home with Irene, her openness in talking. You didn't have to cross your T's and dot your I's in talking with her.
Wow.
Irene, however, admitted she had moods with some of the others, like Norina. We used to make fun of Norina's intellectualism, philosophy, and so on, Irene said. As I wasn't interested in this side, Irene and Kitty, however, got along, as Kitty was more involved with the domestic side of the group's lives. She and Irene had breakfast together most mornings. Irene did one thing that totally baffled the Eastern women, especially Mara. Mara hated a schedule of any kind, but Irene, true to her Swiss upbringing, made a timetable for her entire day. Down to the minute, early in the morning, Irene heated up her bath water in the kitchen. Baba was up early too and came into the kitchen and embraced her. Baba was pampering me for when I was young. I could have easily been sidetracked on these days I didn't come. On the days he didn't come, I felt terrible. Irene was put in charge of the husky Canute, while Elizabeth looked after her own dog, Kippy. Kippy loved Canute, but Canute could not have cared less about Kippy. Canute was the most unresponsive dog. In Nassik, he chased a neighbor's chickens so much that a farmer said he would shoot him if he were not kept under control. Elizabeth tried everything to dissuade him, even tying a dead chicken around his neck, but nothing worked. Rano cared for Canute for a while and said that unlike most animals, he was unresponsive to Baba. Baba didn't have much use for humans or animals who didn't respond to him. While Canute was in Irene's charge, he got sick and she diligently nursed him. Later on, Irene was to go to India. Yet when she returned, Canute did not even recognize her. He had totally forgotten her.
Wow.
I have to leave now.
Yeah, this is a fine point to end. Yeah. No. No, you read fine, Tina. You read fine, and I just finished my lunch.
Oh, good.
I tell you, it was a delicious lunch. So,
What'd you